Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about the chapter excretory system. Excretory system. So, the definition of excretory system or the definition of excretion is nothing but elimination, removing. Excretion means removing or elimination. So excretion is nothing but elimination of nitrogen and other waste materials from body is called excretion. Elimination of nitrogen and other waste materials from the body is called excretion. Animal cannot eliminate free nitrogen. The free nitrogen cannot be sent out from the body of the animals, but it can be eliminated in the form of nitrogenous end product. So depending on the elimination of the nitrogenous waste material, the animals are divided into three groups. The animals which excrete ammonia are called aminotelic animals. The first group of animal is aminotelic. Aminotelic means the animals which excrete ammonia in the form of nitrogenous waste material are called aminotelic animals. They excrete the nitrogenous waste material in the form of ammonia. The second group of animals is ureotelic animals. Ureotelic animals. The animals which excrete urea as the nitrogenous waste material are called ureotelic animals. The aminotelic animals, the first group animals are protozoans, crustaceans, then aquatic animals. Some aquatic animals, crustaceans and protozoans are the aminotelic animals which excrete the ammonia in the form of nitrogenous waste material. Now coming to the second group, that is the ureotelic. Example, earthworm, cartilaginous fishes, and most of the amphibians and mammals. Earthworms, cartilaginous fishes, and amphibians and mammals are coming under this group, that is ureotelic group. They excrete the urea as the nitrogenous waste material and they are called ureotelic animals. Now coming to the third group, that is the animals which excrete or eliminate the uric acid as the chief nitrogenous waste material are called uricotelic animals. Uric acid, they eliminate the uric acid in the form of nitrogenous waste material and they are called uricotelic animals. For example, reptiles and birds. Reptiles and birds are the uricotelic animals. So there are three groups depending on the excretion of nitrogen in the form of nitrogenous waste material. They are grouped into three groups: aminotelic, ureotelic, then uricotelic animals. Coming to the human excretory system, today we are going to learn about the human excretory system. The human excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, then a pair of ureters, pair of ureters and a urinary bladder and urethra. So these are the main parts or the organs of the excretion in the human beings. So there is a figure here, you can see the figure. So this is the excretory system, the two kidneys and the vessels which enter inside the kidney here, and the ureter comes downwards and opens in the chamber called as urinary bladder, and this opens as urethra. So this is the figure of the excretory system, the two kidneys and the blood vessels, the posterior vena cava and aorta, inferior vena cava and aorta. Aorta brings the pure blood and the inferior vena cava takes the impure blood. So there are two major vessels which enter inside the kidneys at helium, at the point he called as helium. From there only the ureters, a pair of ureters which convey to the urinary bladder, and the urine is stored in the urinary bladder. Then afterwards it will be excreted out or thrown out through the urethra. A single kidney is fixed here. I will explain this one also. So the excretory system contains two kidneys which are reddish brown in color. The right kidney is slightly lower than the left one due to the presence of the liver, as the liver is present above the left kidney. The left kidney is little bit comes down, and the right kidney is slightly higher to the left one. So the right kidney is slightly lower than the left one due to the presence of liver. Now coming to the next point, they are bean shaped in structure. The kidneys are bean shaped or seed shaped. Bean shaped in their structure. Morphologically they look like a bean. They are situated on the posterior abdominal wall on either side of the vertebral column, between the level of last thoracic and third lumbar vertebrae. Last thoracic and third lumbar vertebrae. At this level, these two kidneys are situated in the posterior abdominal wall on the either side of the vertebral column. So it is present behind or below the vertebral column at the posterior abdominal wall. Outer surface is convex and inner is concave. The outer surface of the kidney are convex and the inner surface is concave. There is deep notch in the concave side called hilum, that is called as hilum, through which renal artery, nerves enter and the renal veins and ureters come out. The renal veins and the ureters, they come out, and the renal artery and the nerves, they enter inside the kidney at this point, which is called as hilum, Hilum, hilum. Kidneys are surrounded by a tough fibrous tissue called capsule, which is covered by a shock absorbing layer of adipose tissue called renal fat pad. So kidneys are surrounded by a tough fibrous tissue called capsule, which is again covered by a shock absorbing layer called renal fat pad, which is adipose tissue. Each kidney weighs 125 to 175 grams in the male and 115 to 155 grams in female. In males, each kidney weigh 125 to 175 grams in males, and in females 115 to 155 grams in female. The length of the kidney is 11 to 14 centimeter. Width is 6 centimeter. Thickness is 4 centimeter. So length is 11 to 14 centimeter. Width is 6 centimeter and the thickness is 4 centimeter. In longitudinal section, kidney shows an outer region called renal cortex and inner region called medulla. Cortex is light in color and medulla is dark. Medulla is dark in color. Cortex is light colored one. Coming to the next point, medulla is made up of triangular cone-shaped areas called renal pyramids. The apex of pyramid is called renal papillae, which fits into the minor calyx. The part of the cortex projecting between pyramid are called renal columns. Renal sinus, major calyx, renal pelvis, blood vessels are present in medulla of the kidney. The renal pelvis leads to the ureter. The renal pelvis leads to the ureter. Then coming to the microscopic structure of the kidney, that is the histology of the kidney. Kidney may be regarded as a collection of millions of uriniferous tubules. Kidney may be regarded as a collection of millions of uriniferous tubules. They are called uriniferous tubules. Each uriniferous tubule consists of an excretory part called as nephron and a collecting tube. So there are two parts in the uriniferous tubule. The first one is the nephron and the second one is the collecting tubule. So each uriniferous tubule consists of a excretory part called nephron and a collecting tube. Coming to the next point, there are 1 to 2 million nephrons are present in a kidney. So 1 to 2 million, about 2 million nephrons are present in each kidney. Next point, hence nephrons are called structural and functional units of the kidney. Nephrons are called structural and functional units of the kidney. So this is the figure of the nephron. When I will send the notes, you can see the figures also. Now I am explaining about the nephron. So this is the nephron, wherein a excretory part is there and a collecting part is also there. So now coming to the nephrons, these are called as structural and functional units of the kidney. The kidney is made up of about 2 million nephrons. So these nephrons are nothing but the structural and functional units of the kidney or the excretory organ kidney. Nephrons cleanse the blood and balance the constituents of the circulation. The circulating blood constituents are maintained or balanced, and this blood is also cleaned by the nephrons. The nephrons are cleaning machines which are present in the kidney. When the blood enters the nephron, it will be cleaned. Excess materials or the nitrogenous waste materials are absorbed and through the nephron, and then the blood is cleaned and sent back. Coming to the next point, nephron consists of a renal capsule or Malpighian capsule, which is a round structure consisting of a network of capillaries called glomerulus. The glomerulus is present in the renal capsule or Malpighian capsule. There is a capsule called renal capsule or Malpighian capsule, which is the head of the nephron, and in this capsule the glomerulus is present. So this is the capsule. So this is the capsule and the glomerulus is inside. That is nothing but the blood stream here coming through the efferent and afferent vessels. So there is a capsule called Malpighian capsule or renal capsule is present, and the blood vessels in the form of network of blood capillaries called glomerulus are present in the renal capsule. Coming to the next point, the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule together form the renal capsule. The Bowman's capsule, it is also called Bowman's capsule or renal capsule or Malpighian capsule, and this Bowman's capsule together with the renal capsule is called the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule together called as renal capsule. The Bowman's capsule is cup-like double layered covering. The Bowman's capsule continues as renal tubule. The renal tubule is the extension of the Bowman's capsule. Behind it, the Bowman's capsule behind gives rise to the renal tubule. Next point, the first part of the renal tubule is proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. Proximal convoluted tubule, the first part of the renal tubule called the proximal convoluted tubule, that is a PC and T, PCT. The middle part is loop of Henle. There is a loop which is discovered by scientist Henle and it is named after him, called loop of Henle. The middle part is loop of Henle with descending limb loop and ascending limb loop. There is a descending and again there is a loop of Henle and again it continues as the ascending limb. The last part of the renal tubule is distal convoluted tubule, DCT. The distal convoluted tubule. The first part is proximal convoluted tubule and the last part is distal convoluted tubule. The distal convoluted tubule ends in collecting tubule which drains different nephrons join to form large tubules called papillary ducts of Bellini, which open into minor calyx at the apex of renal papillae. The renal capsule and the part of the PCT and DCT are located in the cortex of kidney. These are all located in the cortex of the kidney. The loop of Henle and the collecting ducts lie in the medulla. The loop of Henle and the collecting duct, they lie in medulla. The inner surface of the Bowman's capsule is lined with very specialized type of cells called podocytes, 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 and the inner layer is lined by simple squamous cells. The PCT is lined by cuboidal and columnar epithelium. The cells are provided with microvilli and numerous mitochondria. The loop of Henle is lined by cuboidal or columnar epithelium. The DTC is lined with cuboidal cells without microvilli. The DTC, the distal convoluted tubule, DCT, convoluted tubule, is lined with cuboidal cells without microvilli. They doesn't have microvilli. The collecting tubules are lined with cuboidal or columnar epithelial cells. The first set of arterioles present in the glomerulus are concerned only with removal of waste products from blood. The second set of capillaries present around the renal tubules are concerned with the exchange of gases. The permeability of the collecting ducts is controlled by antidiuretic hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. The permeability of the collecting duct is controlled by antidiuretic hormone, ADH, which regulates the dilation of urine. Absence or deficiency of this ADH results in extension of large volume of urine, excretion of large volume of urine, diabetes insipidus. This condition is called diabetes insipidus. The antidiuretic hormone, which regulates the dilation of urine. Absence or deficiency of this hormone results in excretion of large volume of urine, and this condition is called diabetes mellitus. Diabetes insipidus. Coming to the renal portal system, the afferent arteriole enters the Bowman's capsule and forms a network of capillaries called glomerulus, where these capillaries filter the blood first. The afferent arterioles enter the Bowman's capsule and form the network of capillary called glomerulus, which filter the blood at the first level. From the glomerulus of the renal capsule, the efferent arterioles, now coming to the efferent, first is afferent arterioles. The afferent arterioles form the glomerulus and the filtration takes place in this level, in the first level. Secondly, from the glomerulus of the renal capsule, the efferent, efferent arterioles comes out and again branches into network of capillaries which surround the renal tubules, wherein they recover most of the solutes and water and retain them into the circulation before returning to the venous system. So before entering the venous system, in the second part, the blood is again filtered and the efferent arteriole, which comes out from the Bowman's capsule, branches itself again and surrounds the renal tubules, wherein they recover most of the solutes and the water. Water and solutes are again recovered and returned them into the blood circulation, back to the blood circulation. before entering the venous system. Hence, here the blood vessels start with the capillaries and end in capillaries for the filtration of the blood, and this is called renal portal system. In the renal portal system, the blood vessels, they start with the capillary network and end in again capillary network for the filtration of the blood. Hence, this system is called renal portal system. So, the renal portal system is also present in every kidney. We have two portal systems, the hepatic portal system and the renal portal system. While explaining the circulatory system, I have explained about the hepatic portal system. Now there is one more system, portal system, called as the renal portal system, present in the excretory organ, that is nothing but the kidney. So today we will stop at this point. The structure of the kidney I have explained, the morphology and the histology of the kidney and the excretory organs I have explained already, and the Bowman's capsule, renal tubules, everything, that is a nephrons I have explained. Then the renal portal system. Tomorrow we'll take the formation of the urine, how the urine is formed in the kidney. So that point we'll take tomorrow. Thank you very much.